All right, so today we're going to be cloning our VM. The last time we were able to see how to install Ubuntu VM using the virtual disk image, which we installed from osboxes.com. So today we're going to learn and see how we are going to clone that particular VM to be able to perform an SSH connection between the two VM servers. And before we can do this, it's important for us to understand how it works. We are going to be placing the VMs within the same network so they can be able to communicate with each other. And how we're going to do this is to make sure that our VM is having a bridge adapter network. So make sure the network within your VM is on bridge adapter. How does bridge adapter work? You can see from the diagram here that we have our host VM, and within our host VM, we can see the IP address of our host VM of 172.18.15.174. So what happens is the VMs that we're going to create, whether one, whether two, whether three, they would be within the same network. And when they are within the same network, it's going to have the same subnet mask. If you don't understand what subnet mask is, we are going to be discussing that in our networking class. So we can see here that our host machine, where we have our VirtualBox, has an IP of 172.18.15.174 connected to a router, and the router is connected to the internet. So the VMs are within the same network, and they are connected to the same router, sharing the same subnet mask and having similar IP of 172.18.15.171, then VM2 172.18.15.172, VM3 172.18.15.173. So we are going to create the VMs, clone the VM, and check the IP address of our host VM if it corresponds with if it's within the same network as our VM and our cloned VM. All right, so let's get started. So to clone our particular VM, we are going to come here. You can see the clone icon. Click on that. You can see that we already have a name populated for us. I will leave it as this. I do not want to change this. You can change if you want to Ubuntu VM server, or whatever name you want to name it. It's a remote server. I will leave everything else as default. I will make it a full clone because I do not want to link I do not want to link this particular VM with the original VM. So I can delete and remove it if I want to. So I want them to be separate VMs. So I'll leave as full clone. Click on finish. When I click on finish, we would see that our original VM is being copied. When it's done copied, we would see a new VM created, a clone VM created within the section just below the original VM. When that is done, we are going to start the VM one and start also the clone VM, which we called our remote server. In our remote server and within our Ubuntu original VM, we are going to check the IP addresses of these VMs to see what the IP address range is, and also check the IP address of our host VM to make sure that they are both on the same network. So we'll wait for this to finish, and when that is done, we will come back and complete the rest of the task. Okay, you can see that our VM has successfully been cloned. We renamed it our remote server, so that's why you can see the name here. So we're trying to start our VMs, both of them. Start the original VM too. You can see them both powering up. Would see when this finishes. You can see our remote server starting and the Ubuntu VM also starting. We'll just have to wait for a while and for the both VMs to finish booting up. When that is done, we are going to log in directly into both of the VMs, then check the IP config details of both of the VMs just to make sure that they are on the same network as the host, and also confirm the host IP address range. So this is my Ubuntu VM currently running. I will have to log in with my VM password. Same password of which we did the last time. And this is my remote server. I'll log in. Same password. Okay. This is done now. I will have to go to my Ubuntu VM terminal. Whilst that is opening up, I would minimize this and go to my remote server terminal, open it up. Before I check the IP address range of both of the VMs, let's also, first of all, check the IP address range of our host VM, of our host machine. This is my Windows machine. I'm going to tap PowerShell just to see, just for us to check so when you open PowerShell, click on ipconfig. All right, ipconfig. I know that I'm currently with an Wi-Fi network, so my IP address would be within this sub heading. And I can see my IPv4 address here. I can see the subnet mask of 55.255.55.0. This is my subnet mask. And I can see the IP4 address range of 192.168.1.201. So I expect both of my VMs to be within this IP address range of 192.168.1. Maybe 202 or 204 or 206 or 16 or 192 or 1680 or 180, whatever IP address range. So we're gonna have this same IP range, probably with different numbers at the end here. So my host machine, once more, is 192.168.1.201. Let's confirm from our VM what IP address range they currently having. I'm currently in my remote server, so let me start first from my original Ubuntu VM. Open it up. Okay, so I type IP address, IP-ADDR, and I can see that my IP address range is 192.168.1.161 for my Ubuntu VM. Let's confirm the one for our remote server. I can see here that my IP address range is 192.168.1.134. So which means that my Ubuntu VM has an IP address of 192.168.1.161, and my remote server has an IP address of 192.168.1.134. And finally, my host machine, it's 192.168.1.201. This is because they are currently within the same network. So they share, um, they have same subnet mask, and they are within the same IP address range. Okay, so in our next class, we are going to see how we can transfer a file from this Ubuntu VM to a remote server. How we can um, connect from a particular VM to a different VM. First of all, let me see if these two VMs can communicate with each other. So I have to go back and check my remote server IP, which is 192.168.1.134. So let's ping our remote server from our Ubuntu VM to see if there's a connection between them. Ping 192.168.1.134. So we can see that there's a connection between both of our VMs. So invariably, what this means is when we try to do an SSH connection, we shouldn't have any connection problem because they are actually communicating with each other. You can see 11 packets was transmitted or sent, and 11 was received. There was no packet loss. So this is basically what this means is we're trying to send a message to say hello to the remote server, and we also received 11 hellos back. So in the same words, we sent 11 hellos, hello, 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 11 times, and we received 11 hellos, hello, hello, hello back to us. So there was no loss within our message. It was received and it was sent back. Okay, so we're going to end it here, and I will see you in the next one where we discuss more about SSH and how we can connect to our remote server and transfer files from our Ubuntu VM, which is our local server, to the remote server. See you in the next one.